They say that the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. Is that true? Let's talk about some very theoretical ideas, and I'm going to start with a question for you. What does the universe, God, nature, and everyone owe you? What does the universe owe you? I had a very impactful moment in high school. I reckon it was during lunchtime. I had the peculiar habit of eating, my food, apples and sandwiches in my classes or in between classes during the day. And then seeking solitude at lunch. I would just, walk around the halls and parts of the high school that were far away from the cafeteria, or I would just walk outside away from the high school altogether. There were some fields and things that were close by. And on one occasion, I had something of an existential crisis. I was considering the question, why am I in existence? Why do I deserve to be in existence? Clearly, thinking is going on because there are thoughts apparent to myself. I know I exist, but why do I exist? And the very accompanying question, what does the universe owe me? Does it owe me anything? After a long time thinking about this, and as far as I could see, my conclusion was that the universe owes me nothing. That it was grace and miracle that I was in existence, and that all sorts of experiences that I could possibly have in my life are infinitely valuable. Infinitely valuable, of course, when compared to the alternative of experiencelessness, the alternative of void, null, without cipher. My older sister told me once that she felt that a bad experience was preferable to a boring experience. Just always really liked that. I think the same way of thinking can help us to be more moral in certain circumstances. And let me explain myself. It's tempting to think, when you're left to your own devices, to compare our strengths with our weaknesses with other people's strengths, or to compare our possessions and our situations to competitive alternatives. But I think a better way to thinking, and maybe, for example, the next time you're drinking some carbonated water, sugar-free carbonated water, resist the temptation to think, I wish I was drinking Coca-Cola. Compare it not with a competitive alternative, but be wise and compare it with nothing. Compare it with having nothing to drink. And honestly, let's take it a step further and say, let's compare it with experiencelessness. Even just existing here, drinking something bitter or terrible, or drinking nothing at all, just feeling thirsty, might be preferable to experiencelessness. Non-existence is difficult to consider. In fact, it may even be impossible to consider non-existence. But I do believe that through deep focus and meditation, we can at least get close, and we can come up with an idea in our head of what non-existence could be like. It doesn't hurt to try. I think it's a really great thought experiment. And it may help more than you think to use this new concept, this new realization of non-existence, if you can ever, try to visualize what that would be like, as your new baseline. Supposedly, many Europeans did not know about the concept of zero in mathematics until they had contact with the Americas. In fact, in the Americas, the Mayans had been using the idea of zero in mathematics for decades, centuries probably. My question is, why shouldn't we use the concept of zero in philosophy? Why shouldn't we use the concept of zero in our everyday lives as a new baseline, as something to compare everything to? I think it will give so much value to the sort of lives we live. It will help you to realize that even the smallest, silliest things could in fact have infinite value, could be infinitely valuable. I think it's just a really great way of seeing things, and I wanted to share it with you guys. But anyway, thank you so much for watching.